Hello there, Chick Chatters.
Hey, Chick Chatters.
We are coming at you from a very secret location.
Top secret.
We're not supposed to be here, especially in the same spot. We're together! No, we're together. We watch Sister Wives. That's why it took a while to get to you guys. So
All the traveling and,
there's a lot of things going down.
Mm-hmm.
There really wasn't much in this episode to go off of other than my frustration with Meri.
Right. We do start with Christine before we get to Meri. And Christine is with McKelty and all the kids, and she tells, I can't remember if it's Truly or Isabel. Yeah. She tells one of them that she's pregnant in general. Then she announces to everybody, including Christine, that she's having twins. 2 babies, 2 blobs, as her and Tony called it. And Christine just about has a meltdown. Like, too many happy tears. A happy meltdown, not a bad meltdown. Like, jumped up and down like a maniac.
Of course, she's not birthing them.
I know. And then for some reason, I think, was it Isabel was like really... I think McKelty was like, yeah, so this is 3, so we're done now. And it seemed like she was more excited for her to only have to have 2 pregnancies and 3 babies. Like, wow, you're such a cool human. Like you can I don't know why I laughed at that so hard, but those are the goals that I have. Tyler and I talk about it all the time. So.
It's honestly easier if you can just knock it all out at once.
Totally.
You got the help for sure. I mean, because twins are a lot. I have 2 twin nieces, and they are 2 years old, and they are quite the handful. So, but I mean, they're funny, and I feel like their communication skills are developing a lot faster than most kids their age because they're constantly talking to each other. So there's some perks to it, and it's very interesting to watch. But at the same time, when they're acting up, or if one of them is acting up, it's just a whole nightmare. So I'm just going to throw that in there. I know. Yeah, Tony is freaking out a little about this whole situation. I mean, as any guy would, I think. He's mainly freaked out about home births, and that's why they're going to do this in a hospital. Also, because I guess the midwives won't do the birth because it's high risk.
For twins.
Yeah, twins are high risk almost automatically.
It sounds like she talked him into not doing a home birth last time, even before it was twins. I think it's going to be for sure a hospital birth. So then we get to the real South.
Yeah, so it's about to be Meri's, apparently, because even Kody's like Meri's 32nd wedding anniversary. And I mean, we're all confused on why they're still celebrating this.
Not Meri.
Yeah, I guess she called up Kody and she asked him to go to dinner, and he was like, oh, I might have to watch Robin's kids, so let me check with Robin. And that was just a cover in case he didn't want to do it. He had to think about it, he had to outweigh his pros and cons on spending even 10 minutes alone with Meri, apparently. Kody, I guess, thought it through and decided that a free meal is a free meal, because I'm sure.
You think Meri paid for it?
It's a feeling.
You know what? She's the one that asked him to dinner, and I know that's how me and Tyler usually do things. I mean, if it's a special occasion or something. Well, I guess it is their anniversary, but that's not a special occasion to Kody, as we're going to find out.
I mean,
I wonder who paid for this meal. I mean, we're about to see how bad it goes.
I just wish they would have filmed it at the restaurant they always go to.
I hope TLC paid for it.
They didn't. If they didn't film it, I don't think. I think Meri did.
Oh.
I just have a feeling.
Could you imagine getting that bill on your credit card, or even just looking at it on your bank statement, this is that dinner?
Knowing 10 minutes in that he was faking it. We gonna fake this? We about to fake this right now? As he's gobbling down his meal.
That that's literally what happened. We don't get this though. We get this just sort of like this view that we have of Meri just talking to us through her like video FaceTime in Pirawan, because that's where she lives but doesn't live. Didn't they say in the last episode that she's staying in that big ass house in Flagstaff? Did I hear that right?
I'm not sure what they're talking about when it comes to Meri's living situation. I've kind of just let that hill be died on, but
well, I don't blame her, because look what happened to Jenelle with her living situation. She better just hold on to every asset she has.
Yeah, Meri seems very scorned in this interview, so you can tell that this must have been right after the fact. I
think it was like the next day.
Yeah, she decided to just I wouldn't say come out of, but start slowly crawling her way out of denial. Mm-hmm. It's a very slow crawl, but she's gotten a couple.
Well, this is, I think, why the whole episode is called like airing the dirty laundry, because that's exactly what's going on right now. She's had it. So I guess during the dinner, while they do Kody referred to their relationship as possibly fake. This was like the first time, I guess, that Meri has heard doubts from Kody. And Kody says, I don't know why you bothered to call. We're not meant. And then stopped and said, living as a married couple. First of all, just say it, because we all know.
Tomato, tomato.
Living as a married couple, married. Okay.
Meri is shook.
She's talking to us as if this is the first time we've ever heard this information.
Have you not watched a single confessional in the show? Have you not been present for the last couple of reunions where they show you the clips and then ask you, what do you think, Meri? I don't know. He's never said it to me. No, he's saying it to you and you're like, no, you've had a lot of warning, girl. I don't know. I can't feel bad because I'm just, if anything, I just get frustrated because it's like, how can you be living in such denial for so long? She's saying 8 years.
Right. That this is the time that you've had your realization. It took you to your anniversary where he didn't call you, where when you called him, he used his children with the only wife that he loves, maybe has ever loved, as an excuse. Decides, hey, probably if this wife that I love is going to leave me, I guess I should make an effort, because we all know that's the only reason that Kody even went on a date with Meri is because Robin probably was so sad.
Why I think Kody ended up on this date in general is because he accidentally mentioned it to Robin.
Right.
And Robin was like, oh, you have to go.
Yeah.
This is your anniversary. You have to go. I'm not convinced he paid for it. I mean, he could have. But there's just something in my psyche that just makes me feel like there's just no way. I feel like this was a Meri treat. Just like her crispy treats, her Rice Krispie treats.
Isn't that what she made him like last year or the year before? Like
I think the last couple years she's made him
Rice Krispie treats
for every year, and it was so special. And he loves my Rice Krispie treats. It's like, I mean, guys like in food.
Isn't that like 3 or 4? I get whatever. So she says that this was her realization when Kody finally, has started to say this. And then it cuts to something like that Kody says in a confessional. And they kind of both give their ideas of when the deterioration of their relationship happened. Like, why are we going over this again? But anyways, Kody's perspective is that around the time that they took a break, like way back when, I haven't even seen those episodes yet, but they were in counseling several years ago. And it sounds like he wanted to leave then, but he said because of counseling and the recommendations of his other wives, he decided to try to stay and make it work. And that he spent a lot of time, which again, I haven't seen, even though I've been watching since the COVID seasons, I haven't seen him trying during any of that time. But somewhere, sometime, somehow, he spent a lot of time working with Meri to try to fix the relationship. And then at some point, he said that he gave up. The problem with him giving up is that he did not tell Meri, apparently, until this date, right now, on their 32nd wedding anniversary.
Do you believe that, though?
I'm just saying, I'm just reporting what I saw.
I guess, but I just can't believe that he hasn't given no hint to Meri when he's this open everywhere else. Wasn't there a date where they went on and he was like, I'm never gonna be intimate with you again?
That was, I think, the COVID date or the date after COVID. And he did say that. He said, we're not going to be intimate ever again. And that was the time when she was like, I bet if I kiss you, you'd probably freak out. Like, yeah, he would. And that's what I'm trying to say, though, too, is like, no, I don't believe that. But I also don't think Meri was ever in the position to even hear that information until people started leaving the family, because he's been telling her the same information for a long time. So Kody told Christine, I don't want to be intimate with you anymore. And that's pretty much like what the straw that broke the camel's back, even though it sounds like they hadn't been intimate in a while, but at least he was like honest with her about it. And so Christine's thing was, I don't want to be like Meri. And then they were all at the land at one point, the mountain of angels. They were all at Angel Mountain. That's what I'm going to call their land. And Christine wanted to leave then. I think this was around COVID because they were all in their like, you know, camping chairs at the Angel Mountain. And Christine walked away. She's like, I don't want to do marriage with Kody anymore. And guess who comes clawing her back is Meri.
She was grabbed by Meri, and Meri was like, you can do it. I've done it. You can do it.
Know.
No one wants to be you.
I know.
That must have probably been a wake-up call for Christine, honestly.
I think so. It would have been for me. So I guess Meri tells us that Kody says flat out, you know, you don't understand. I have no desire to be in a relationship. This is never going to happen, and your life is not one that I want to be a part of. That's what he said. He made it as clear can be. And I'm telling you, I bet when he came home from this date and told Robin what he said.
Oh, for sure.
Can you imagine?
For sure.
Like, I wonder if he just lied. I hope he just lied.
I don't know if he can lie.
It's true. And I feel bad laughing because Meri is really sad at this point.
To be honest, though, it just drives me up a wall because I can't just sit here and think that if me and my husband are on a TV show and he's talking about me in a confessional, that whatever he's saying about me isn't what he truly thinks.
Right.
And that just because he's not saying it to me directly, it's just invalid. It just makes literally no sense to me.
I know.
I can't compute that in my head.
People might say things once in a while that maybe you wouldn't say to your wife, like to your friends. But if you're saying things consistently, persistently to anyone who will listen, like Kody is about Meri.
For seasons. No, she's even confronted with the footage and she's still living in a denial thing.
We get a little break from Meri and her realizations, finally. And then we have Christine and Mykelti back, and they're having that like home birth conversation. Kind of get like a mashup of a couple of videos of home births happening. And we also get Christine having a hospital birth with Truly and Dr. Bean, who Mykelti is going to seek out for facilitation of birth, because I think somebody said like that's who gave birth to Truly, and they were like, no, he presided over the birth.
Like, but Mr. Bean was there, Dr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. I noticed in the mashup of home birth that Robin was so quiet when she gave birth. Did you notice that?
The only time she was. You know what's nuts is that Sob and Robin made a couple of appearances, but not a full appearance. And something that I noticed was that during this whole birthing scene and stuff, it didn't matter if Sob and Robin was happy or sad. She was always sobbing. So at this point in life, you know, with Christine and everybody else, what's the point in not being happy if she's just going to sob anyways? It's the same sound.
So true.
She's sobbing when she's happy. She's sobbing when she's sad. She's sobbing probably during every single emotion.
Constant.
She's talking about Truly turning 12 and how Truly doesn't have any memories other than around her and her kids. Like there's no
cool.
Yeah, there's no previous memories from her just in the womb.
So cool that Truly has no other memories. Get it together, Robin.
I don't know how Kody even does it, to be honest. I do not know why that's his soulmate of all of them.
So Christine and Mykelti are talking about like home births versus hospital births, and Christine talks about like the long history of polygamists being fearful of hospitals and blah blah blah, and then Jenelle like just pops up in her confessional and she's like, yeah, I have different beliefs than Christine and I'm not scared of hospitals.
Jenelle has the audacity to come on there and be like, he signed every single one of my kids' birth certificate.
So I think Mykelti's gonna be fine. Mykelti's not even living plural marriage, so I understand growing up, I guess, with a fear, but also I think they've all probably seen enough, at least the children, that fear is not quite valid.
They're also not even telling us any of this, so I don't know if this isn't even a fear of theirs. This probably isn't even a fear of theirs. They're probably fine going to the hospital.
It's definitely just a Christine fear. She's close with Christine and she's close with Robin, and we saw both of them having lots of home births, as opposed to Jenelle having lots of hospital births. I think Mykelti is more influenced by the home birth situation, which is probably why she had her first home birth, but Tony also did not love what was going on, I guess.
And when it comes to Robin, even if she had no fear about hospital births, I just feel like this woman likes to traumatize herself, and she would have traumatized herself in this moment over hospital births, even if she had no problems. That's just my opinion.
So then we get to kind of a scene with Robin and Kody, and they're celebrating Truly's birthday party. And everyone looks uncomfortable except for Robin, and she is in the confessional just like talking about how everything's so hunky-dory that everyone can get together and Truly has no memories of, you know, anyone but us.
She called it a family experience. I'm like, Robin, what is
it? And then as she's saying the family experience, you see Truly and, why do I always forget her name?
Isabel?
Yes. Truly and Isabel. Isabel looks like just visibly, she's like holding herself like this, and then like Robin's daughters are on the other side, like looking up, looking at their nails, like all kinds of things. So you can tell it's uncomfortable, and Robin's just like bopping around. And then Kody pops into his confessional wondering if he can trust his own children. What do you mean?
It makes my blood boil, honestly.
When you feel like there's a problem with trust between you and your children, that is not the time to back off. That's the time to like pop in, give them a call, check in, take them to lunch, like bring over some groceries, like something to build some trust between you all. And it is your job as the parent to facilitate trust. That's the way that relationship works. Tenfold, 50 years old, 5 years old, I don't care. If there's no trust, it's your fault and you have to build it.
Apparently not at 12 years old, and especially not on your 12th birthday.
Especially. God forbid, you know, somebody under the age of 8 needs some emotional support from Kody.
I can't believe he said he didn't know if he could trust his 12-year-old on her birthday.
How weird do you have to be? And then he goes on like a tangent, like always, about how, you know, all of his kids are here, there, and everywhere, and Maddie stopped reaching out to me, and I don't know what happened there. How does your kid stop reaching out to you? Unless there was a solid cutoff, like, please don't speak to me, which maybe there was, but it's like he doesn't understand what the problem even is with Maddie. He says that. I don't know what's going on. She stopped reaching out to me. And then Christine has to cut in and say, you know, there's a lot going on, actually, and she has a lot to consider and her family to consider and blah, 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 blah. And Cody's just like, yep, nobody wants to talk to me. Well, isn't that convenient for you to say instead of giving your kids a call and figuring out what the real problem is and being accountable?
And just a minute ago, when it came to Truly and not trusting her, you were just saying how things are fine between you and Truly, so why can't you trust her?
That scene is over, and we get to Jenelle gardening. We'll be brief probably about this situation, but I guess her kids are all making her some gardening boxes because she loves to garden, and she's talking to her sons more about how they don't talk to Kody. I mean, this is all pretty played out at this point. Jenelle says that she's happy with her family just being Christine for now. And then I think the most important part of this whole scene, and I don't know if this, I think this would happen in a confessional with Jenelle, but she said that she acknowledged the land and talked about wanting to build a greenhouse. at the land and said that she'd like to be a full-time garden tender in her second half of her life, but she was unsure if the land was ever going to get paid off, and that it'd be a shame if they didn't because they put all this money into it. And then it cuts to Kody talking about Jenelle is pestering me so much about this land and blah, blah, blah. How dare she? And then he says, Robin and I plan to build on the land.
Yeah, but a couple episodes ago, he was talking about having a 15-year mortgage on the house, or that like his kids had to live there the next 15 years. So you're going to build on the land, or you're going to stay in this other house for 15 years. On top of that, the only thing I kind of agree with and what he said is, what is everybody else doing to pay off this land? Because I don't see nobody trying to pay off this land, to be honest with you guys. Like, pay it off, don't pay it off. I don't know, but y'all are going to lose money, I guess, if you don't pay it off. I disagree with Jenelle always asking about this stupid land, because someone's got to ask. Otherwise, it won't get done. When's it ever going to get done? You guys are comfortable at Robin's house.
Exactly. Kody and Robin are 100% fine just chilling out. They got room for their kids. They got room for extras. They got room for all those goddamn paintings everywhere, all over the wall. Did you guys see that? Jeez. That's just obnoxious. Paintings of like just dark and dreary. I hate that house. I hate it so much.
They had a bike riding scene with Truly. They're both kind of trying to give her a little tough love in different directions on her bike riding. It's really not that eventful. It's just a kid learning how to ride a bike. It's nice to see, but you know, with everything else going on, I feel like I could have listened to Meri go on a little bit longer and frustrate me a little bit more about how she didn't know what was going on, even though it's been going on.
Don't worry, we'll get to that. And if you can see, I can kind of relate to Truly. I didn't learn how to ride a bike until I was like 11 or 12 either. I grew up like right off of where a freeway or a highway ended. So it was like 75 miles an hour, like a half a mile away from my house. So people didn't really slow down until you got to the stoplight right there. And then they would start to go the speed limit. So people were generally going like 60 miles an hour. So there was no sidewalks there and nowhere really for me to practice. So when I was younger, it was hard for me to learn to practice, and I would fall a lot, like Truly was worried about. So I just stopped trying for a long time until I was like 11 or 12. And I did learn, but I was terrified. I'm still terrified when I get on a bike. It's just not something I learned when I was like 7 or 8.
So got to Meri, and she was basically talking about how Kody asked her to kind of keep whatever breakdown of their relationship between themselves. And it's like, what? That doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm not sure if he said it or not because it's coming from Meri, but it still doesn't feel right because he's been saying it to the camera for a long time. Yeah. So what's private about that?
Nothing. And what do they have? Like, he says, can we keep this between us? But he says there's no them. So if they don't communicate ever, then like, is she supposed to just be a solitary human I think that that's what he does kind of expect from Meri, knowing her values, because at the end of the episode, she kind of whittles down everything that happens and she says, I have two options. I can continue the same way as an independent badass, which I'm not mad at her for saying that, but it's also really sad. So she has that option, which she sees as like continuing how things are. Or she can terminate the marriage. And she says that that doesn't sit well with her values because marriage is an eternal covenant.
Does this sit well with you, though? Like, I don't know. It just feels really crazy to me to just make yourself miserable the rest of your life and pretend that you're happy. You know you're not, because otherwise you wouldn't want this man back anyways. You would just be chilling and vibing and just living off that land.
Yeah.
Being cool with being everybody's friend. I just feel like it's a way to sell yourself short real fast.
But there is a better life out there for her. And I think she's starting to kind of think that over now that she knows that she has to just balance the options for herself. Is she willing to, you know, compromise on some of her values, which it would be a compromise. That's real. But she has that eternity part in her mind, which I think is important because I think that's one of the things that's going to actually bring her out of this marriage is that I don't think she wants to spend eternity this way. And I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I think she should have known in the last decade of eternity she's been living that this is how it's going to continue to persist, and she should have just left a long time ago. I mean, damn.
See, the thing is it's great to go into a marriage with that drive and that want of it to last forever, and putting so much into it. Like, we can all say that Meri tried, right? Like, none of us can say that Meri did not stick it out or try or whatever, but she's overkilling it at this point. It's just overkill, and this man has no desire, no want.
Like, what is life after? That's what I don't understand. I don't get what he was even really asking of her. Like, if both of you have decided at your 32nd anniversary or whatever that you're not going to be together anymore, then how do you just keep that between the two of you if you're not the two of you? That's not something you keep between two people if you're not two. If you don't have a relationship. Is she just supposed to live in solitary confinement for the rest of her life? What is that? Come on, Kody.
It's more for Robin. So
it is for Robin. I want you to just sit in this big house by yourself. We'll call upon you whenever, we have a birthday or a celebration or whatever that stupid family values declaration of intention. I can't.
Y'all are on a public TV platform. There's no keeping it to yourself. There never was.
There never was.
For the last 10 years, y'all haven't been keeping it to yourself. He can't ask you that at this point. He's already been telling the world.
Kody has not been keeping this to himself.
Never.
Ever. Even though Anne and I are very, very convinced on what the clear option is out of the two options, we're still left with Meri saying she has, quote, no idea what to do. So I guess to be continued.
You'll have that from Meri.
You'll have that from Meri. She takes a long time to make these realizations.
Good on you, Meri.
Really, though. Good on you, Meri.
Here's the thing. When you're going through something like that, like, it feels like you'll never get through it if you have to go through it. But, like, the second you're, like, through it, you come out the other side and maybe you find somebody else, like, it's just going to feel so much better. It's going to feel a million times better.
It is.
And you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I wasted so much time and feel so silly. Like,
yeah, that's how Christine feels. She's married now. I understand wanting to put in your all. She put in her all. She tried. It's giving embarrassing.
That's what we're going to leave you on today with that episode, Chick Chatters, because there's really nothing else that, like Meri, this whole situation never sat right with my soul.
So hopefully you join the rest of our souls, Meri, in the land of Kody. And I think that's what she says this in the next episode. That's what's coming up for the previews. Meri says, screw him, he's not worth it. That's what the clip is that they pulled from that. Also, Christine throws a party, tells people she's dating. Jenelle and Kody pace around Janelle's new apartment while he looks for which space is his. Spoiler, there's none.
I just hope Meri got some gratification from hanging out with someone else's husband on what was her anniversary.
Yeah. She likes to hang out with people's husbands,
She does.
Her best friend in Parowan, she has a husband too that Meri really likes.
There's no weird stuff going on between them either. So.
No, just chores.
Just chores, just like with Kody.
Yeah. No, Kody don't even do her chores anymore.
No, but hanging out with her is a chore to him, so he's got to figure it out.
True. The fact that this man said to Meri, I would like to keep our non-marriage between us, but also decided to share with the world on Sister Wives in the same episode that he used his children with another woman as an excuse to possibly not even meet with her that day is just the height of Kody.
It's the density of sometimes of these people is so funny. Like, y'all really act like the confessionals are just a whole different dimension. It's so crazy. Kody might really think he's in a different dimension because he just lets it all out.
He does.
It's like you're inside of his actual mind, which is amazing for us. I mean, what other reality TV show do you actually see what someone's really truly thinking at all times? Thank you for joining us, Chick Chatters.
Yeah, this is a very special episode of us being together. So it was cool.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.